you can basically pass the suture assessment. Her subsequent homework have no big problems. This standard is enough. In fact, the suture is easy. How many pieces were sewn in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. A total of 12 pieces were sewn. First 5 or 6 pieces have some problems. Basically no problem for the rest. So this assessment is passed. So if you just start, I suggest starting from some small objects. Then concentrate for a day. Concentrate on half a day. It will be great. Next, let's oil edge. Sewing and oiling edge are the most attractive parts. Therefore, they directly determine our final result. This is the effect of oiling once. Before talking about oiling edge, let's talk about the edge oil. Normally, our handmade leather goods will use this water-based edge oil. Rarely use that oily or that elastic edge oil. The adhesion of that edge oil is poor. Regards to the edge oil, we need to know the characteristics. The first characteristic is the adhesion. It's about reliability. Some edge oil is easy to fall off. Then some edge oil is relatively reliable. The second characteristic, normally the color of edge oil will be adjusted. Once it's been left for a long time, it will have the layers. That doesn't affect use. It is tonal precipitation. Just need to shake it before use. It doesn't matter whether there are layers or not. You have to give it a shake. Let the whole solvent and this toner mix well. Okay, remember these two characteristics. There is another one characteristics that matter. It's the viscosity. Usually speaking, when we just receive this edge oil, it's slightly sticky, slightly viscous, because the viscous edge oil can also be diluter. If the edge oil is very thin at the beginning, it is not possible to thicken it, so you have to pay attention. There are two solvents when diluting. The first solvent is to use water. Be sure to use the purified water or mineral water. Don't use tap water. There are some mixtures in tap water. And the second solvent is special thinner. Each brand has its own special thinner. Everyone must ask before buying. Avoid changing edge oil brands frequently. Just try to buy from only one supplier and use their own thinner. Try not to use the thinner from different brands. Don't interchange edge oil and thinner between different brands. Maybe it's okay, but most of the time may also occur flocculation, etc. This is about edge oil. Well, for so many years, the process of edge oiling did not change a lot until recent 2 years. I made an edge oil video 7 or 8 years ago. Now it becomes outdated craftsmanship. At that time, it was popular to use an oil to just a coating and wait for a long time, then polish. But now, basically, just apply it twice. So, let's update it. There are only 3 tools for oiling: oil and W pen, and the nano sponge. They can solve over 90% job. If any small bubbles or pits, you can solve them by using the oil. Fill the hole, buy an oil. Okay, then the W pen. Normally be used when the gap is deep. That is, where there is a gap, fill it in instead of painting over entirely, cause the drying time is too long in that case. Okay, only need these 3 tools to oil the edge. The 2 most important things when oiling. The first is smoothness. The second is not to overflow. If you use other tools, it will definitely overflow. It's just a matter of the spill volume. But we don't allow the overflow. Okay, and then the third is the edge ironing machine. And then the third is the edge ironing machine. So ask me how many degrees when ironing oil. Actually, I don't know how many degrees. Why? This brand Mason offers various adjustable gears. You can ask me which gear, but don't ask me how many degrees. Let's turn it on to the highest gear. Then wait a while. Just wait until it turns red. Oil temperature for ironing edge is about 500 to 600 degrees. I have measured through a thermometer. After testing, different brands have different temperature requirements. The lowest is around 300 degrees. The highest is 500 or 600 degrees. Soldering irons like this can also be used for ironing edge oil. It can be used in some little corners, but it's not hot enough. It is marked 600 degrees, but the actual test temperature is about 400 degrees. The supplier stated that the heating tube temperature can reach 600 degrees, but the heat conduction to the iron's top will decrease. Most of the creaser brands share the same temperature loss problem. There is another problem. For example, I have 4 edge ironing machines here. All of them are mason. Their temperature control is very good. Suppose we set the 8th gear. It's about 400 degrees. Then it will be stable at 400 degrees. About plus or minus 5. If other brands, suppose we set the 8th gear, or go straight to the maximum gear, they can't reach 400 degrees. Normally, they have a serious false standard. So another one problem we just mentioned is temperature control. Most brands can raise the temperature, but not control the stable temperature. Mason is more reliable. I have recommended them for many years, and have never received any advertising fees from them, because they really did a great job, so I am willing to recommend them. After talking about 3 major edge oiling tools and edge ironing machines, then we started. Find a nano sponge, cut from the size you need, then press down, that's it. Let's cut 1 centimeter like this. Then cut it diagonally, another cut diagonally. This tip must be thick enough. That's how it cuts. Don't cut this tip too sharp, but leave a thickness. In this case, it can dip more edge oil. Cut each one in such a length. The size is just right. This piece can be cut into multiple pieces. Just find a container and put them inside. God, it's a simple job. Well, this is very simple. Then put the blade away after use. Yeah, okay. Don't hurt your hands. There's a small slot. Just stick the knife in. Don't show the blade. Well, let's take it as an example. You can get some small cups like this. It can be sealed after finishing oiling. It's much easier to get than to store it in a bottle. Like this. It needs the hands. It's a hassle. So I put the edge oil here every time I use it. Cover when you're done. Okay, this volume is enough to make a big bag. Then I just throw away the excess. Before oiling, let's check this edge. It's not very neat. This edge is not very neat. There's even a little bend in there, kind of crooked. Don't worry. All liquids must be sealed properly. Then put it in an absolutely safe place. Otherwise, if you sprinkle oil, that's a disaster like a nuclear leak. I made such a clip myself. It is specially used to fix some leather goods. In this case, I can make sure no bending when I operate upon. If you hold it by hand, for example, if it's a softer one, like this, the leather is softer. If you oil the edge by holding in hand, it may be out of shape, right? If your hands are sweaty, also warm, uneven pressure and humidity, it's very easy to deform a leather. So now you know why it's crooked after oiling, because you hold it like this. So I usually put it in a very flat place. Before oiling, be sure to polish the edge first. Then when polishing, we definitely need sandpaper. Then at this time, I recommend you use the small wooden block. It works really well. Rub the wooden blocks with the sandpaper like this. It's all cut. The commonly used sandpaper grade is 240. I prepared 240, 400, 800. Basically these 3 are enough. Replace it with a new piece of sandpaper. Clip it here. Then buckle it upside down. Make sure that they fit well. Then bend the excess over and tighten it. Okay, a sandpaper block like this. You can make about 10 bags. Or if it's calculated by shoulder straps at meters, this block can make about 10 shoulder straps. Clip them when not in use. These are 3 commonly used sandpaper grades. I don't recommend Warrior sanding shades or Eagle brand. I've tried all of them. I prefer the White Horse brand because it has a particularly good expiratory capacity. Then let's move on to this sandpaper block. Why not recommend sanding by hand? Because the hands are elastic and it's curved. It's easy to lose control when you polish it a lot. It's not very flat like this. Normally, I'll hand this wood in the air and press it down here. Make sure it doesn't move. Then lick a little bit. Don't lick too much. If you lick too much, it will be up and down when we polish. About 2 to 3 millimeters is okay. When I polish, don't sand vertically. I used to sand vertically before, leveling the top like this. But I'm not going to sand vertically. Just sand it diagonally down. Then the grinding angle is not vertical. It's about 45 degrees. Then go down and polish. Please pay attention. Oiling is more difficult than previous skills. Okay. Try to pass this oiling assessment after these 10 pieces. Okay. See, these rounded corners are not very natural. We can use sandpaper. Gently sand it over. Polish it down. When polishing, try to sand each edge a similar number of times. Like this place, I sanded 20 times. But here just twice. In this case, the edge will be uneven. Try to even it out. We turn it over after polishing it like this. Same from the back, about 45 degrees. After polishing at 45 degrees, gradually translating vertically. When polishing the vertical surface, just scrape it twice lightly. Don't over-polish the surface, because usually there's a gap on the top. We essentially moved all the leather fibers to the middle to make a bump in the middle. If you ever polish, this fiber fluff will be polished and leave out a gap in the middle. What we do is like filling the groove with the leather powder. Okay, that's it. You'll see it's rough now, just leave it alone. I will use the cross-linker. Harden the fiber, and as it hardens, it will not form a membrane. This is the biggest difference from fillers. The filler is like putting a membrane on it, but the adhesion of that membrane is particularly poor. I tried all kinds of fillers. They are too thick and poor adhesion. It will fall off after a long time. Okay, after comparing, I prefer the encoding method. Faster and works better after applying the cross-linker. Basically, it dries in seconds. Then pat it gently a few times. Sort out the fiber a little bit. It's basically okay after polishing. Then we go for our first oiling. Remember, the base must be polished well. It's worthy to spend 80% of your time polishing this base, because once the base is sanded, the effect will be great just oiling twice, and there is almost no need to wait for the drying time. If it's heavily coated, 80% of the time is spent on waiting to dry. Let's find a new sponge. Dip it lightly and scrape off the excess. Then be sure to wait for the oil to seep in. Do not leave liquid on the surface. Then apply it lightly. It's impossible to spill out if you apply it like this. Don't squeeze the sponge, because when you squeeze the sponge, the liquid inside will be released, and then it'll form a big lump. So don't squeeze the sponge, just go normally. You can almost oil with your eyes closed. Fast and good. After oiling, make sure to cover this well, then take it to the safe zone. You can continue the lift job directly after finishing it. No need to wait. You can see that the gap here is particularly large. No worries, we can use the iron. Burn this head very red, then use a 05. I haven't cleaned it yet, but it's not important. Don't scrape the flat surface at the beginning. Instead, scrape towards 45 degrees. Same, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's what it feels like. It's 45 degrees. 45, 60, 60, then 90. Again 45 degrees. 45, 60, 60, 90, 90. That's probably how it goes. Then like this area, if the gap is obvious, just slow it down a little bit. We completed the first ironing. After ironing, remember a key point. Where you've ironed must polish it before second oiling. If you don't polish it, the adhesion of the second layer of edge oil is very poor. Now, get a 400 grit sandpaper. See, after ironing, a wax film will form. Let's sand it off. Just polish it lightly. The gap here is bigger, then you need to polish it a little longer. In order to make it easier for you to see, I picked it up and polished it. Normally, I would put it on this corner. Polish it lightly like this. Sand on the gap. When the groove is smaller, brush the excess dust. Now let's do a second oiling. Take this cup. Again, basically even with your eyes closed. It's impossible to overflow now. If it spills, you must have squeezed the sponge. At the beginning, do as much practice as possible to get the correct feeling. Okay, apply the corner twice more, because it is not easy to hang oil here. That's it, put that aside. Cover it. When the reflection of the liquid is not visible, we can iron it, because the temperature is high. So don't stay too long. just scan it quickly. That's why I recommend you use a hopper. It's hot enough, like stir frying needs powerful fire. Then the gap is big like this. Let's iron it a few more times. If it doesn't become small, I'll apply a thick coating. In fact, the gap is so deep, it's due to less steps that the leather pasting and cutting are not done well. So previous imperfection steps take us more time to make up now. Because the filling properties of edge oil are very poor, you apply a big drop, but when it dries, it's really thin. After the edge is ironed, iron the corner lightly. Don't put too much force at the corner. Okay, the other three sides are fine. Then gently use 400 grits or 800 grits. Now, gently sand it. Sand off the surface film which is formed after ironing. Just scan it lightly. So from this matte level, we can tell that most of them are flat. After polishing, we use the tip of the oil. Dip a little edge oil, then fill in the pit. Be careful when using the oil, never overflow. Don't worry about what this looks like, as long as it doesn't overflow, because wait a minute, we're still going to iron it. For the extra edge oil in the pit, we must wait until it is dry before ironing. Please pay attention. Let it dry and put it in an absolutely safe place. I will demonstrate this step with this soft leather. Let me show you again. This particularly soft leather is representative, because it's too soft to polish. In this case, you can use a clip like this. It has flat edge, clamp at the top, then go to polish. I particularly like using this crosslinker. Crosslinker is a chemical additive, commonly used in the leather softening field. If you don't use crosslinker for soft leather like this, the edges are getting hairy. Then how hairy is that? This area will be very rough, making it impossible to tell whether it has been polished. Like this soft leather, the more times you sand it gets more hairy. So, there's no need to sand anymore, just use crosslinker. A little is enough. Okay. After oiling, let it dry for more than 10 seconds. Then let's give it a quick iron. This is after comb. Okay, the back hasn't been ironed the decorative line yet. Remember, we must iron the decorative line before sanding. If you iron the decorative line after sanding, it's slippy to iron on a rounded corner. So iron the decorative line first, then sand it at 45 degrees. We see on the front. After hammering on the thread after sewing, this decorative line is not so clear anymore, so you can make it up again. Just make it up lightly. Okay, so there is a decorative line. Then let's polish the edge 45 degrees like this. See, we spend most of our time on sanding the base, cause it helps us ease the following oiling steps. Okay, simply oiling a few times. The sponge is a bit dry. Now, you have to wait the oil seeping into the sponge. Fresh sponge seeps quickly. This is a bit dry. So let's wait for it to seep again, then apply it lightly. Forget it. Let's get a new sponge. Change it in time. Well, after ironing, we will use 800 grits to sand off the film again. Basically, 800 grits are already fine enough. You can use 2000 grits if you want an extremely refined. Okay, final oiling. This time, the edge oil must be thinner, so I will use the thinner too. Dilute the oil. We just need a thin coating. Make it even thinner. Then gently. Go again. The thinner edge oil, the better durability. The thicker the edge oil, the easier it is to get stuck in powder, easier to fall off. Drop off bad straps. Then wait a minute. Let's wax the edge, finally. What kind of wax do you use for polishing? Well, it is mainly the mixture of beeswax and paraffin wax, and find the right ratio. Take a small pot and melt it together. It is not recommended to use Columbus wax. Columbus wax is too hard. If you make a band like this after you apply it, that wax is all cracked. Okay, that's basically dry. Let's apply it again when it dries. And then it's basically over. After it dries, let's wax it. Okay, it's dry now. Let's wax it. Scrape over. After waxing, find a canvas. Okay, then wax it and find a canvas. This is often used to polish wax. Fold and rub the edge. That's it. Heat generated by friction. Let this wax melt and adhere to the surface. 5. A polishing roll. Then comes to the wax step. We need to pay attention to 2 points. Firstly, don't use too much force. Otherwise, you will scrape all the wax off. Secondly, make sure that you finish the oiling, cause it's hard to oil again after waxing. The edge oil has poor adhesion on wax. That's why it is difficult to wear long oil wax leather, because this type of leather contains too much oil and wax. Okay, good to this point, the oil edge is already done. Then, is it fast and good?